sentiment, benevolence. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here's the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amora Vairochana Mahamudra Mani Padma Jivala Pravartaya.
Join me in some mindful stretching. invite you to stand and join me in chanting of the three refuges. So we will take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. First in Sino-Korean, out of respect to our lineage, and then in English. So in preparation, just feel your feet connected to the earth beneath you. And bring your right and left sides of your body together, palm to palm. In this gesture, we call Hapchang, a sincere heart. And then throw your voice in as best you can.
I go for refuge to the Buddha,
and resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment
And realize the great way.
and realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma,
and resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings
I will penetrate the teachings
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha
I go for refuge to the Sangha
and resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
Please be seated. And I invite you to sit comfortably. Good morning. How's my volume today? Good here? Good? All right. So welcome in from the 10 directions. My name is Ma Un, and I'm one of the priests that live here at the temple. And today's theme is Labor Day and the meaning of work. So when I think of Labor Day, I always think of the return of students to Ann Arbor for the fall semester, and we welcome the students back. I also have very fond memories of our great green recycling sale, which we held every Labor Day. And this sale involved going around and picking up used furniture. A lot of that furniture was just left by the side of the road, abandoned by students who had moved on. And so we would bring it here, we would repair it, fix it up, and then recycle it, offering it for sale to students at reasonable prices. And so that was always a very joyous event for us. Also, a lot of work. And so eventually we had to give it up because when you're in your 70s, it's not so appealing to be carrying couches around and things like that. But we do have fond memories. So Labor Day also, for many of us, is a celebration of the turning of the season. It's the end of summer, the beginning of fall. Many of us go out and we have one last barbecue, one last picnic, one last time at the lake with families, things like that. As we look at the origins of Labor Day, it was made a national holiday in 1894, and its intention was to celebrate workers' contributions to our country's strength. The day was actually born out of labor protests because working conditions back in those days were very harsh. 12-hour days, 7 days a week, low wages, and risky kinds of work. So the labor unions were born out of that movement as well. But today, I would like to focus on labor as, turn our thoughts to labor as the meaningful work that we do. Haji Sunam passed along this very interesting greeting from Samantha Donahue, Associate Vice President, Office of College Relations, Belmont Abbey College. And so I'd like to read it because it has some really lovely thoughts. Happy Labor Day weekend. Like many of you, I've been looking forward all week to the Monday holiday, thinking about how I'll take advantage of the extra time out of the office. But this year, I've also been thinking about Labor Day itself, its importance, and the ways I do or don't appreciate the significance and the dignity of labor in my daily life. Labor Day may be a secular holiday, but considering the Benedictine tradition of prayer and work, a holiday dedicated to labor and laborers seems particularly appropriate to life at the Abbey, and I might add life at the temple, this temple. In a way, prayer is an expression of our relationship with God, or in our instance, we would say our relationship with religion, this idea of oneness, togetherness. While work is an expression or recognition of our relationship with others and with creation. Given this, the value of Benedictine hallmarks like discipline, humility, and stewardship, I'm realizing that I don't always recognize those whose labor is actually a ubiquitous presence in my life. When I get up in the morning and switch on the light, I don't think about those who work in the power plant supplying my electricity, or the technicians who keep it running all over the country and the state. I don't necessarily think about the manufacturing labor involved in the dress that I put on, or the agricultural, transportation, and service labor that brings the fruit or coffee to my breakfast table. When you stop and reflect on it, it's astonishing how many people we need to be grateful for as we carry out our day-to-day lives. The monks of Belmont Abbey have taught me that work is a part of the daily rhythm of our vocations. Labor allows us to exercise patience, endurance, and generosity. It gives us the opportunity to imitate our Creator, who is, after all, at the work of ongoing creation of the world. As we celebrate Labor Day weekend, let's try to value the work that we do and the work we receive as a means of strengthening community and embracing responsibility for each other. Let's remember to show our gratitude to each other and uphold the dignity of work and of workers in our words and deeds. So I like this idea of focusing on value of work. I know during the pandemic, I was so grateful for the postal workers who brought the mail to our house, and so grateful to the healthcare workers who took care of us at some risk to themselves. And every day at the temple, every meal, we say the meal kata. This food comes from the labors of beings past and present. And so as we think about that, we think about where did that food come from? And who did produce the greens that were on our table? Sometimes it's us ourselves doing the labor. Other times it comes from other places. So in this temple, labor goes on every single day. The temple would not exist without all of us contributing our labor. It's really apparent on Saturday afternoons when we have gardening practice. And yesterday there were 5 people moving soil topsoil from this pile that we had acquired out to the curb to help us construct a new garden. A lot of pretty hard physical work. And each and every one of us, by being here, has a chance to do that. So this week, I also saw this documentary on longevity. It was on Netflix. And it was focused on the people of Okinawa, Japan. So Okinawa is identified as a blue zone. Has anybody heard of a blue zone? So a blue zone is a place that has a high proportion of people who are over 100 years old. And so this documentary shared part of the study. What are some of the reasons for that? And one of the very interesting things that they shared was in Okinawa, there is this concept, this idea of Ikegaya. Ikegaya. Has anybody heard that?
Could you say it again?
Ikegaya.
Ikegaya?
Ikegaya. And what it means is I contribute to the world. And so when you encounter someone, especially an older person, you ask, what is your Ikegaya? And for some of these people over 100 years old, they would hold up a bunch of carrots and they would say, I grew these in my garden. And there was another man who made these wooden musical instruments and felt so blessed because he said this would outlast him by at least 200 years. So that is a way that he contributed to the world. In Okinawa, there is no such idea as retirement. And actually, I would argue in the US, that's kind of true too, even though we no longer work at jobs that we're being paid for on a regular basis. Most retired people I know are pretty busy and they are engaged in making some sort of contribution to the world. And it's important to us because if we lose that, we lose kind of our purpose of living. In Buddhist tradition, we talk about right livelihood, and this is part of the Eightfold Path. So it's in the morality kind of grouping. So right speech, right action, right livelihood. And the Buddha did have a few guidelines about right livelihood, and mostly these were around occupations that one should avoid. So there were 5 occupations that were articulated at that time: dealing in weapons, trade of human beings, including slavery, sex workers, things like this, meat production and butchery, business in intoxicants, and business in poisons. So in reality, the Buddha didn't put these out there very often, because if you happen to be engaged in one of these trades, we're not turning you away from gaining the benefits of walking down the Buddhist path. So he did not talk about them very much, and only when he was requested, had to request 3 times, ask the question 3 times in order for him to really respond to it. And when that happened, he didn't have a conversation about, no, don't do this, don't be a butcher, don't be involved in killing animals. He didn't have that kind of conversation. It was more of a conversation of, well, think about what it is that you are doing and how your intentions, what kind of intentions are you fostering for yourself and others. So just sort of guiding the practitioner to think about it themselves and arrive at their own kind of conclusions. So in modern times, Some scholars are wanting to update this idea of right livelihood, and that the term liberation, see if I get this right, liberation-based livelihood is now being used and offered. So there is an author, shoot, I didn't write down her name, Maria something. I apologize, Maria, I don't remember your last name. A student of Joan Halifax, who offered some thoughts on this. And she said, things that we need to deal with these days, particularly in the West, work is an extension of our very identity. And so it's more than just a means of making a living, making an income. And also because our economy is so global, we're all interconnected. And so when you think about like prohibited occupations or occupations that cause harm, all of us in some way kind of are engaged in that. And one way I can think, for example, at the temple, we probably order far too many things and have them delivered to our doorstep rather than going out and working with local merchants. And when we do that, we're adding to this delivery cost. We're adding to this economy of gasoline-powered engines that bring the things to us. And also, we don't do very much investigation of the companies that are supplying those things. So all of us have opportunities on a day-to-day basis because we're very interconnected. So Maria says we need to move to this concept of liberation-based livelihood because it's something that's grounded in nourishment, self-care, and the capacity to express our gifts through our work. So it's an expanded notion of not only earning money, but how it is that we earn it. And in reality, we've always known that how we engage in work is very important. I'd like to think about the practice of work. How we carry out our daily activities, and examples here at the temple. If I think about all the office work I do as the practice of administration, it's something very different than typing numbers into a spreadsheet. It's something very different than responding to emails and phone calls. It's welcoming people to the temple and interacting with them in a deeper way. So there's the practice of giving a Dharma talk. We have the practice of gardening, cleaning, cooking, and the practice of residency. So those of us who are privileged to live here do engage in a lot of work on behalf of the temple. And each and every one of you has your own version of this, regardless of what work that you are engaged in. Looking at how you do the work is very important. The temple offers some very practical assistance with right livelihood and work. So one of them is our 6 right livelihood guidelines. And I know these, but I'd like to have them in front of me so I don't mess up. I'll read them to you. We say them every evening after evening service. And this too addresses how we do our work. So the first is consume mindfully, and that means eat with awareness and gratitude. Pause before buying and see if breathing is enough. and pay attention to the effects of media you consume. So the second is pause, breathe, and listen. When you feel compelled to speak in a meeting or conversation, pause. Breathe before entering your home, place of work, or school, and listen to the people you encounter. They are Buddha. The third, practice gratitude. Notice what you have. Be equally grateful for opportunities and challenges, and share joy, not negativity. The fourth, cultivate compassion and loving kindness. Notice where help is needed and be quick to help. That's something interesting we can do in our work every day. Consider others' perspectives deeply. Work for peace at many levels. And then the fifth, discover wisdom. Cultivate don't know mind. Find connections between Buddhist teachings in your life and be open to what arises in every moment. And then the last is accept constant change. So we're constantly cultivating this fluidity, the ability to be in the present moment as we go about our lives. If you were here last week, we gave a Dharma Guardian certificate. We have a training program if you want to connect Buddhism to your life more directly and take this into your work. And so the certificate we gave last weekend was for Dharma Guardian. Kamal spoke a little bit about his training. The Dharma Guardian program in particular is based on these 6 right livelihood guidelines. And so our students, in their practice, they journal about it, they pay attention to how they cultivate these in daily life. And they come to the temple then for meetings and for discussion. We have another training program. It's called Dharma Worker. And today we're going to give a Dharma Worker certificate to someone who has completed that program. So the difference between a Dharma Guardian and a Dharma Worker, Dharma Guardian program is aimed at more temple leadership, cultivating leaders and bringing practice into your everyday life. And graduates of that program oftentimes end up being leaders of groups in our Sangha, leaders of study groups, support groups, or chaplains in hospitals, this kind of thing. Dharma workers are connected to the temple in a very, very direct way. And I'd almost say that every resident is kind of a Dharma worker, because we ask those people to be the eyes and the ears of the temple and to engage in caring for the temple and the Sangha in a very deep kind of way. So this is more of a monastic, has more of a monastic flavor to it, and it's based on 10 vows of Samantabhadra, which Hajji Sunam will be telling you about in a moment. But the last 2 of the 10 vows of Samantabhadra are let's see. I'm going to mess this up. I should say this. Basically, it's I vow to serve all beings always and never grow tired of it. And then the last is I turn all my merits over to others. So it's this position of service and humility that is cultivated through this experience. If we have time after the presentation of the Dharma Worker certificate, we'll engage in a little more discussion of work and what it means to you. But now I would like to ask Hajji Sunam to come and also Sogan, who is receiving his certificate. It's really my pleasure this morning to offer this certificate to Sogan. He really is a master of manual work. And when I think of manual work myself, I think of hands instrument. And so it's very visceral. Whether it's hands on a bowl that we're washing dishes, or whether it's hands on a weed that just won't come up. It takes the whole body. In our organization, we have some liberation gates. There's a liberation gate following precept. There's a liberation gate of meditation and concentration. There's a liberation gate of rituals and ceremonies and prayer. And there's more. But the one that we, I think, do the most, because everything comes to it, is the liberation gate of manual work. When Sogan moved in, he brought a lot of stuff with him. And over the years, he's got less of that stuff now. It's been 5 years. And he's one of these people who's quick to help. He trusts really to help. See what needs to be done and put together. It's kind of a monastic opportunity for someone who is not really a monastic, because Sogan has been doing lots of work in our community. And he's been doing lots of work for the temple too. He works to offer meals at the homeless shelter and at, what's the name of the place? Dawn Farms, a place that helps with those addicted. And then in so many ways, he helps around the temple. And in this brochure, which our teacher and founder, Venerable Samasunam, wrote many years ago, the Dharma Worker Program outlined. If you're interested, I'll leave it out to you. Soon says, the Dharma Worker Program is a modern adaptation of the traditional temporary renunciation custom for lay people that is still in practice in the Buddhist countries in Asia. Aside from the religious significance of such a temporary renunciation after Buddha Shakyamuni, the rationale behind the social custom is a common belief that the monastic experience and spiritual awakening of lay people would benefit society. Whatever you need do, and now you're going to Detroit, doing your work from there. Important that it benefit at least the people on your street And then there's this picture of this devoted being, looks like female, but it's kind of lovely picture of humility. You know, to be able to do this kind of service, we have to be pretty humble. And someone has really been learning that. I'd like to go over the guidelines called the 10 vows of Samantabhadra. And I'm going to say them and ask you to repeat them and let them kind of simmer within you. Because they're pretty impossible things to do. Yet, as we become more free, we can do the impossible things. So let's go through them. Bring your hands together. It's kind of like, this, wow. 10 vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, please.
10 vows of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra.
On number 1.
Number 1.
Honor all Buddhas.
Honor all Buddhas.
And never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Praise the Tathagatas.
Praise the Tathagatas.
Whatever they are. Number 3.
Number 3.
Make offerings to all Buddhas.
Make offerings to all Buddhas.
And never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Repent all your misdeeds.
Repent all your misdeeds.
And never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
5.
5.
Rejoice in the virtue and happiness of others.
Rejoice in the virtue and happiness of others.
You do this.
And never grow tired.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 6.
Number 6.
Request the Buddhas to teach the Dharma
Request the Buddhas to teach the Dharma.
and never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Request the Buddhas to remain in the world
Request the Buddhas to remain in the world.
and never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Be anxious to follow and learn the way of Buddha
Be anxious to follow and learn the way of Buddha.
and never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Serve all beings always
Serve all beings always.
and never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Turn all your merits over to others
Turn all your merits over to others.
and never grow tired of it.
And never grow tired of it.
So Sogan worked with each of those, within a week or a month, but didn't try to do them all at once. In fact, they are all the same thing, but there's some specifics of those same things that she learned to work with, and is still been working with, and probably for the rest of your life, right? So, we have a Dharma Worker Certificate. How lovely. This Dharma Worker Certificate is awarded to Sogan Andreas. I only know his Buddhist name. How do you say?
Nilunas.
Milunas. Sogan Andreas Milunas.
who has successfully completed the Dharma Worker Program at the Zen Buddhist Temple in Ann Arbor, Michigan. In the spirit of the 10 vows of Samantabhadra, which he has practiced, and the 6 paramitas, which he has also practiced, I humbly offer him this certificate.
Thank you.
And also, this is a pin of the Wheel of Dharma, which has 8 spokes to it. What do you think the 8 spokes are? Pardon me? You are right, young woman. I don't hear very well, so that's what he's talking to me from over there. So he will wear this, and remind him of this work that he has done and that it's going to continue. So don't forget to just put it on every day, and especially when you come. Okay. Now, you may belong to you, and Sogan is going to just give a little nutshell about his experience.
So I wrote a speech, but I feel like I'd rather just talk to everyone briefly. It's been a really amazing time living here at the temple and helping out in all of the minor ways and the big ways. Sometimes that means cleaning toilets. Sometimes that means getting my hands dirty. Other times it's picking up vegetables and dropping them off all over town. It's hard, but sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but the hard aspect of it is really what makes it valuable and really meaningful. I'm incredibly grateful to my teachers and the people who have, I feel like at times put up with me, but have also really guided me on this path and helped me grow to be the person that I feel that I am now as compared to the person that I was when I came here. So I definitely encourage anyone who's interested in deepening their faith, connecting to the temple a little bit more, learning more about the teachings, to consider joining the program. Part of it is monthly meetings that we have together and really kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the Dharma and listen to the other leaders and teachers in the community teach what moves them or give presentations on different aspects and really a wide variety of information that we cover, and it's all very meaningful. So I think I'll leave it.
I'm going to just be real, it hasn't all been easy for me, for us, and for Sogan. One of the things that he's really worked with hard is his own physical health. We really need to take care of our health, and it makes all the difference to our ability to be of service. Of course, to ourselves first. Yeah. But I value the difficulties because I have to step up and learn and open my mind and heart more. So the programs are not like a piece of cake because all the stuff comes up. You get what's called triggered? Yeah. Everybody gets triggered at some time. So there's a song. Will you sing it with me as we wish Sogan the very best as he moves to Detroit. What a Dharma land, eh? This is a song that we sing at Peace Camp. We sing when people leave, when it's people's birthdays. It's just a song we like to sing. So, those of you who know it, let's start everybody out, and then we'll sing it 2 more times, the rest of us. Are you a singer?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you a singer?
Yes!
Okay. My music teacher in the 4th grade said to me, Linda, you cannot sing. I'm not a singer, but I still do it. that's the thing. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me. You really got it now. No coming, no going, no after, no before. I hold you close to me. I release you to be so free. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Because I am in you, and you are in me. Let's do one thing that you always do so much for us, and I'll miss it. Happy birthday in Lithuanian.
Ilgiausių metų, ilgiausių, ilgiausių metų, ilgiausių, ilgiausių metų linkime. To all of us, I suppose.
We always get him to sing that, along with the regular birthday songs. So again, all right, so do we have time? I think we should just keep it at that rather than adding more stuff. Okay, yeah. Then the 4 great vows and then announcements? Okay, 4 great vows. Nice to see you too. It's been a long time. Maureen and, yeah, welcome. Yeah. I'm in a position that I've been around so long that there was a time when I knew everyone. But since COVID, a whole new group of people have come, and the older people stay home more. They still support us a lot, so we can keep going. But here's all these people that your faces are almost all of you new to me. Yeah, so a very warm welcome to, as we together go forward with this Dharma crucible called the Zen Buddhist Temple and over 1214 Patrick Street. So, and with the Dharma, all beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
And also, Jansu, it's good to see you in a while. Would everybody please stand? Yeah, let's stand and listen to the announcement.
Okay.
This is Magno. He's one of our seminary students. He's entering his 2nd year.
Welcome, everyone. Good to see everybody today. Thanks for coming to practice with us today.
And if you have any questions after the service, you can talk to any of us wearing the gray, and we will do our best to answer your questions. And I want to say to Sogan, I'm going to miss you, and I'm glad that you're not going to be too far away. And thank you for all the things that you've taught me. The time that we spent together when I would come here for the Dharma Guardian program and our meetings, and you showing me how to cook here and how to disable the smoke alarm, all of those things, so many things. And Sogan, his family being from Lithuania, also felt last year when Ukraine was invaded, he felt like he really wanted to do something to help. And so he had this idea to get a shipping container and fill it with food and medical supplies. And he really led a whole group of people in doing that. So that was something that was really amazing. So thank you for all that you've done around here. We have a new schedule for fall for activities and events going on around the temple. So we encourage you guys to pick up a copy of this purple flyer, which is on the table in the entrance hall. And we offer introductory meditation classes on Thursday evenings. They run for 5 consecutive Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. This is how I got started at the temple. And you learn the basics of Zen practice as well as things about Buddhism in general. One of the very practical things that I learned was various positions for meditation so that I could sit for 20 minutes and without a lot of pain. So I encourage you guys to look at the introductory meditation class and consider taking that. The next round of 5 Thursday evenings begins this Thursday on September 7th. And there's a sign-up sheet on the table in the entrance hall, or you could sign up on our website. And we also offer an overnight version of that class. Instead of the 5 consecutive Thursday evenings, that's going to run from Friday, September 15th at 7 p.m. until Saturday, September 16th at noon. So that's another option for you. And then we offer yoga classes on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Instead of starting now, it's going to start on October 31st.
Yeah. And I hope that you'll consider doing some yoga with us, because it's a really good way to become more healthy in lots of ways. David, our usual teacher, is traveling, so that's why we're not starting right now, this coming Tuesday. But I think it's a time when we're all so busy we can hardly think of doing one more thing. But maybe when we start again at the end of October, we'll be ready for the one. I hope, because I think we've got a precious kind of traditional teacher. We do not play music or make the place really hot. Just playing yoga.
One of the great organizations that we have in our community is called the Interfaith Roundtable. And they're a local organization that promotes communication between people of different religious traditions. So they're offering a few events in September, in person and on Zoom. And we have some of their flyers here on the table. So pick up a flyer if you're interested in that. And when you come for the Sunday service, we encourage you, if you bring valuables with you, even things like your phone, to either keep them with you or put them on that shelf over there in the corner instead of with your shoes in the entrance hall, so that you can keep an eye on them during the service. And then Together Action, we offer an opportunity to work together and connect with other members of the Sangha after the Sunday service for about 15 minutes. Usually we're working in the garden. So that's available for you if you guys want to do some work in the garden afterwards. It's a nice way also to meet other members of the Sangha. And Recovery Dharma will be held today in the library of the Yellow Building, the historic temple. And the temple is supported entirely by your kind donations of time and money. There's a fishbowl for monetary donations. And if you'd like to volunteer your time, one of the best ways to do that is on Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. We always have work practice Saturdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Another opportunity to work with other members of the Sangha. So please consider coming for that. Thank you.
I'm going to be coordinating garden work. We're going to work on our native plant beds, plowing soil. So if you're interested, also a little weeding before we put the soil down. So please meet out by the bell shed for gloves, shovels, and buckets. Okay.
And if I may ask, someone by the name of Susan contacted me by email. My name is Maun. So I will be out in the lobby if you wish to speak.
Okay, let's do our vows then. Just settling down, just letting everything that you just heard drop for a minute and take a deep breath. Would you please leave? Go, I need to just go to the garden. And would you greet with her, please, Sogan, so everybody has a chance to make that.
Should we do anything with the Madison Fish?
They can stay where they're at.
Great. I saw there were 6 people on still, so I thought I'd give them a minute. I'm not sure. Oh, it's called a mock talk. It's carved. Oh, thank you.
Ready?